Previously on the Seventh Valkyrie, the shocking truth of the Iron Wolf is revealed, and the ramifications may shake Edara to its very core. What awaits under the mask of Edara's most legendary warrior? Find out next on the Seventh Valkyrie. Ivan gasps, and then with his eyes directly on Meridia, he lifted the shaking knife to his neck and slashed his own throat. Meridia was on him before he could realize that his aim had been off, his knife only slicing his skin rather than digging deep into his throat and muscle and windpipe. She wouldn't give him a second chance to try, and tackled him, wrapping her whole body around his arm, twisting his wrist until it practically snapped, tossing away the blade, and then locking him into an armbar hold with everything she had. "You better not fucking die before you give me an explanation, you bitch!" she screamed. He thrashed and blubbered, spitting and whining and rolling and punching at her legs, babbling unconsolably while she held on, hoping that the hounds wouldn't attack her. But as she held him, they stayed where they were, even as he fought to his feet, swinging Meridia with superhuman strength into the trunk of the tree. But Meridia braced against the impact, letting out a gasp but not letting go. And when he swung her again, she twisted and turned, dragging him off of his feet and back to the ground, where she yanked the armbar for all she was worth. Val screamed in pain and tried to roll to ease it, settling when Meridia eased up on the hold, and then screaming again when she wrenched it. For minutes, Val thrashed and blubbered in the hold, screams eventually turning to more like pleading whines. And then in time, she could sense his muscles relax just slightly, and he sank into the ground, sobbing deeply. Meridia kept her hold, making sure that this wasn't some elaborate ploy to trick her. But over time, as the sobs faded and the hounds approached and laid next to him, Meridia gently began to loosen her grip. But not entirely. "Can I trust you not to kill yourself, fuckface?" "Let me die. God, fuck. Just let me die." "Not until you explain what the fuck that was. And then I might kill you myself for what you did." He nodded slowly, eyes still partly glazed over, focusing, unfocusing. "Now tell me what the fuck that was. All of it. The Iron Wolf, and what came after. Do I have to worry about you going fucking crazy on me again?" "No. When the crystal fades, it doesn't come back." "The crystal? What the fuck are you talking about?" "Crystal lightning." His voice was flat, tired. "The high lasts for hours, but when it goes, it goes." "That's what was going on?" "Oh, fuck. Yeah, I thought the look in your eyes was familiar. Of course, tweakers and Mandus love that shit. Elites too, but they get better stuff." Meridia still held on to the armbar as she thought, and Val let her continue. "Fuck. Makes sense. I got a chill seeing you out there fighting her. When you were on the docks, when we fought, you were already amazing, probably the best fighter I've ever seen in person. Don't fucking repeat that. But last night, it was like seeing the Iron Wolf plain as day. I told you, I could remember it. Even years later, I could remember it. You get that much extra speed and sharpness from doing a little bit of crystal?" "Not a little bit. If you do a full crystal." "Fucking what? People bump dust off that shit and they get high for hours. You did an entire fucking crystal? At once? How did your heart not fucking explode?" "I used to do 3. I've been 7 years sober, though, so I only did 1. Didn't really give a fuck if I OD'd as long as I killed Nightmare." "Well, at the very least, you fucking did. Crushed that bitch's skull and dropped her off a bridge." I should have cut her head off, he said. She still might be out there. I'll fucking kill her and use her skull as a trophy for... Val! What the fuck? You said you weren't gonna go all crazy on me again. Val shuddered and shook, and when he spoke again, his voice was back to normal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll spend the whole life that I have making it up to you. Or you can just end it if you want. Please. Please just end it. I'm not gonna kill the fucking Iron Wolf. Or at least whatever the hell you are. Meridia, I don't give a fuck if you believe me anymore. If you want to keep believing the stories that I was some god sent down to save you all, you can. But I'm not gonna play along with that fantasy, or anyone they've created for you. I was a damn good fighter, on so many fucking drugs that I couldn't control myself. That is your hero. Meridia paused, and then finally released the armbar. Val looked up at her, but remained laying on the ground, letting her move his arm away from her as she settled a few feet away, sitting cross-legged. And back in the war, did you get like this too? After the fighting? Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. It's just that none of the stories include the Iron Wolf snapping the neck of deer with his bare hands, or raping everything he can fucking see. Val's breath caught, and when he spoke, it seemed like he was sinking deeper into the earth with every word. When I go that far, when I take enough, and I go to where I need to be the Iron Wolf, it takes hours and hours and hours for me to come down. Without a war to fight, I don't even remember it. But I know that when that happens, I'm a rampaging animal. Fighting, killing, eating, or fucking whatever I can get my hands on. And what, that's what you do on the front lines? Just come home from the battle, snap the necks of a few horses, and just go wandering into tents, raping whoever you wanted? I was the Iron Wolf, Meridia. I could do whatever I wanted to anyone I wanted, and they were expected to thank me for it. Mostly it was my squad mates. The men, the women, I didn't discriminate when I got like that. Some of them liked it. Or maybe that's what they told me. I'd be so deep in, I don't remember enough of their faces, or enough of the moments to know what they were thinking. And maybe I never will. I haven't seen any of them since Heaven's Gate. Most of them are dead, so I'll never get to make it right. The fuck, I don't know if I ever could after what I did to them. Me, Meridia. I did those things. Crystal or not, it was fucking me. He fell silent then. Absent-mindedly, he looked over to where the knife had fallen and rolled over to pick it up, holding it above his face and staring at it pensively. You had better not be thinking about killing yourself again. He laughed darkly. I don't think I deserve to die yet. I thought maybe after the war I deserved to just get away from everyone. Find a little small town and do what I could to just be. I thought I'd played my part in this world already, and net good or bad, I didn't give a shit. Selfish. He flicked the knife at a tree across the way. It sank in deep, past the hilt and practically out the other side. I don't know the right punishment for what I've done, Meridia. I've killed so many, hurt so many, taken what I wanted from my own people, and left nothing but death behind me. And the whole time people just call me a fucking hero. A hero, Meridia, even when they see what kind of monster I have to be to become the Iron Wolf. Had to be. Val, even without a full crystal in your veins, you're up there with the best fighter in Edara history. Certainly on par with anyone alive right now. I mean, fuck, I've heard of people using inventive drugs to keep their edge after they'd lost it, or to give you a little boost in the depths of a fight, but you didn't need all that. On the wharf, you changed that battle all by yourself. Why did you feel like you have to become a fucking monster? Do I have to spell it out for you? When I showed up, the city was lost, Meridia. You, with all of your skill, and all of the Edarans in one of our greatest strongholds, and we barely stood a chance. Val couldn't have beaten the nightmare. Fucking Iron Wolf had to. We could have figured something out. I would have tried, Meridia, but my arrows would have fallen short. And between their men and those strokes of midnight, even Val, the greatest fighter you've ever seen, wouldn't have been able to get close. I had to be something more. Meridia was silent, processing what he said and trying to keep her head from spinning right off of her neck. The figure she had prayed to for all of her life, the symbol of all that was good in Edara, had just arrived, single-handedly protected the eastern side of the city, and then followed up by saving her and the entire civilian population of Reen. And then he had run into the woods, slaughtered any thwarps he hadn't gotten the first time, torn the head off of a deer, and tried to rape her. For a moment, they both sat, silently, and then Val spoke. Have you ever heard of the Duskfall? What? Yes, of course I have heard of the Duskfall. When Apostolos made landfall and started the war, an entire city turned to a smoking hole in the ground, along with all of its inhabitants. Why are you bringing this up? Not all of the inhabitants died. You're looking at the one who survived. You're looking at the fucking kid who had to see Apostolos turn his entire hometown into a crater. But out there, out on the streets and here under the trees, you saw the true face of the beast. The fucking monster that came back to life, that killed Apostolos and ended the war at Heaven's Gate. You talked about me being the best fighter you'd ever seen. But the best what? The best human fighter? We are the species right in the middle of the food chain on this continent. He looked at her fiercely, but for the first time, Meridia caught a glimpse of the terrible pain behind his steely-eyed expression. He was too strung out, still too high and exhausted to hide it. Seeing her recognize him, Val faltered. I can try, and I will try, to make my amends as Val, the kid who survived the Duskfall. That man, who even now is dedicated to killing the Machine King, as long as you don't decide to put me in the ground and end my misery. Hey, fuck you. You think I'd just give you the easy way out? With what you fucking pulled off last night? And especially with what you just tried? No. Edara needs the Iron Wolf now more than ever. And Val is going to pay for what he's done by giving the wolf to us. You want me to be the wolf? Fine. When does it end, Meridia? When can I stop? You can stop when Val is dead. And all that remains is the legend of the Iron Wolf, who saved us a fucking second time. Hey there! If you're hearing this, it means you're listening to the public version of this episode. I appreciate you taking the time and your interest in the series. It really helps the algorithm, it helps us grow. But if you are enjoying the show, maybe take a look over at our Patreon. We have uncut versions of the early episodes, access to new chapters before they're released for the general public, and you can shape the future of the series by deciding on new merch drops, bonus content, and more. You can get started for free at patreon.com/Seventh Valkyrie. That's patreon.com/7THVALKYRIE. Hope to see you there.